I've had cases where the lady calls up and she's like, "Hey, my husband went fishing," and I said, well, where do you go fishing? Well, I think the Chesapeake Bay. Well, does he ever go offshore? Yeah, sometimes. You just expanded the search area from the Chesapeake Bay to the Atlantic Ocean. Well, it turns out this guy had his boat on a trailer, went to his buddy's house to drink some beer. They drank so much beer he never got underway. So, uh, but that's good that we did a little homework.
Hi, I'm Randy Vance for ICOM America's Tales from Channel 16. Today, we've got retired U.S. Coast Guard Captain Jeff Janszen with us, who was active just until a year or so ago. And Jeff, you're just coming back from a rescue swimmers reunion up in the Panhandle of Florida, right?
Yeah, I was there this past weekend, and just a phenomenal event. It was the camaraderie and we call it the Brotherhood of the Fin, but there was probably over 200 rescue swimmers, their families, just got a really nice get together.
Do you know how many missions that you had where you were actually in the water and pulled someone out?
Oh yeah. So actually my first case, I was at Air Station Savannah, and there was a couple guys going fishing. They're out in I think about 20 miles offshore. And you probably heard this in your dealings, but believe it or not, they didn't put the boat plug in. So there's no boat plug. They're about 20 miles offshore. Once they came to neutral, guess what happened? All the water starts coming through it. They had brand new radio, couldn't even get a call off. Boat flips. Now they're upside down. If you've ever been once the boat's upside down and the weight of the engine, there's no way you're flipping that boat back over. It's just impossible. So these two guys are clinging to the hull. At this point, nobody knows they're missing, right? So the wife was smart enough to call in. She at least knew kind of the general area where these guys were going fishing. Calls the Coast Guard. We launch. We're out there searching. Now it's just starting to get dark. And when you're in the aircraft, there's the pilot, the co-pilot, the flight mech who works at hoist, and the rescue swimmer. So you each have kind of sectors you're looking out the window, and kind of like a clock. You take the 12, the 3, the 6, the 9, and the pilots are flying their search pattern. And lo and behold, right smack in the middle of it was like someone shined a light on us. This huge flare goes off at about 400 feet, right smack in front of us. So it's a good thing they had access to their flares.
Duck and cover, right?
Yeah, I thought, my word of advice is don't put the flare, don't
aim it at us.
The flare. But the flare definitely got our attention, I'll tell you that. So we flew over there. The pilot, it comes to about 15 feet, about the where you jump from. So the free fall deployment, jumped out, swam over. Two guys, people get a little nervous when they hear a helicopter, and now there's water going around. So one guy looked a little nervous. It got him first. Put him in a basket, hoisted him up. Got the second guy, who was the owner of the boat, and got him in the helicopter. And I remember flying back, and I thought he'd be happy, hey, we just saved your life. But he was upset with himself. It was a brand new boat, and he did that stupid thing where he didn't put the boat plug in, and lo and behold. But I did ask him, why didn't you get a Mayday call off? He goes, he was reaching for the radio, and it was just, it happened that fast. That's how quick they turned turtle.
Tales from Channel 16 are brought to you by ICOM America, the makers of the most professional grade VHF radios on the water. The new ICM510 EVO allows you to control the radio, make calls, receive calls, and monitor AIS information from up to 3 smartphones. The EVO also provides you with a 25-watt hailer, both inward and outward, giving you the complete on-the-water communications solution.
The Coast Guard is free, right? People understand, well, why is it free? Helicopters are expensive to fly, boats are expensive to maintain. The rationale, though, is if you're in distress, do you really want to sit there and go, gee, I don't want to make this a stress call because I'm going to have to pay all this money for this rescue? It's absolutely 100% paid by the U.S. taxpayers. And the reason they do that is because they don't want you not calling if you really are in distress.
Give me the 3 things that you wouldn't leave shore without in your boat.
For me, the EPIRB is the best survival tool in my toolbox, if you will. Number 2 would probably be the radio, and it is a DSC registered with the MMSI number. The radio, that's and I keep it on channel 16 all the time. An obvious one, but a life jacket, because if my boat sinks and I drift away from the boat, I've got no flotation. So that's the other thing. People, I know, I've been in stressful situations. People that aren't used to a stressful situation, especially on a boat, things happen very fast. If you're on the radio talking to the Coast Guard, the first thing they're going to tell you when they talk, whatever the situation is, one of their first questions on their check sheet is, "Are you wearing your life jacket?" And your people on board are wearing a life jacket. So, because they're going to know how many people on board. If it's 4 people, I hope all 4 people, including the master of the vessel, has their life jacket on. Because when that boats will sink, I don't care how big the boat is or how small, boats will sink. If you ever seen a boat sink, it's amazing how fast they go down. It really is incredible when bilge pumps, not working, water's coming over the gunnel. But once you have that life jacket on, at least you're in a position where, okay, you lose a boat, you're in the water, but Coast Guard's on their way, kind of a thing. Especially if you already made the call, and that'll just increase your survivability. So,
all right, Jeff. This is Jeff Janszen with the U.S. Coast Guard retired captain, and I'm Randy Vance. This is Tales from Channel 16 by ICOM America, and thanks for being with us.
Tales from Channel 16 are brought to you by ICOM America, the makers of world-class VHF marine communications equipment and the official VHF radio of Boating Magazine's cover shoots.